Nigeria, the world's most populous black nation, holds a leading position within the West African maritime sector, for which it acts as a key gateway to Europe. But with some of its seaports struggling with capacity constraint and poor infrastructure, the country is currently developing seaport across different locations in the country. Some time ago, the Nigerian Port Authority signed a collaboration agreement with Belgium's Port of Antwerp in a bid to boost the potential of its seaport and bolster its role as a leading maritime center in West Africa. As part of the agreement, the Port of Antwerp was to advise the NPA on the development of the Port of Lagos and other deep sea ports across Nigeria, which it sees as crucial in handling cargo shipment to and from Europe. By means of collaboration, Antwerp was to use its technical know-how to advise the NPA in ways to further develop the country's ports across board. With over 8,000 kilometers of navigable inland and coastal channels, which helps handle between 40 to 60% of cargo movements in the North and Central African sub-region. Nigeria is a virtual goldmine to many European and international investors who may be looking to win contracts in the maritime sector. Yet, despite these encouraging signs, port activities in the country remains limited due to aging infrastructure, capacity issues, and scarce technological advancement, which is why the Nigerian Port Authority has collaborated with other stakeholders to construct new seaports across the country. Although this idea actually sounds good, but currently, the investors and stakeholders are facing big challenges across board. In its first monetary policy meeting in 2024, the Central Bank of Nigeria increased the benchmark interest rate to 22.75% to curb inflation and prop up the value of the naira. This of course means that borrowers and stakeholders will face higher interest rates on their loans, with borrowing becoming more expensive due to higher interest rates. Consumer spending and business investment may decrease, and the companies may postpone big-ticket investment. In Nigeria, there are multi-billion-dollar port projects that may suffer delays due to the inability of the promoters to reach financial closure over the fluctuation of the exchange rate and hike in interest rates. This project runs into billions of dollars, some of which includes the $1 billion port rehabilitation project, the $2.59 billion Badagry deep sea port project in Lagos, the $1.5 billion Ondo deep sea port in Ondo State, Ibom deep sea port in Akwa Ibom State, Snake Island port, Benin River Port, and Bonny Deep Sea Port in Rivers State. On the port rehabilitation project, the Nigerian Port Authority recently unveiled a $1 billion port rehabilitation plan to enhance the physical infrastructure in the Apapa, Rivers, Onne, Warri, and Calabar port complexes. The aim, according to government, is to achieve the depth of the port up to 14 meters and increase the draft at the quayside to accommodate vessels of all sizes. The Nigerian Port Authority is also considering taking an $800 million loan facility, which will be repaid in 7 years to fund the port rehabilitation project. Next is the Snake Island Port. In 2023, Niger Dog received approval from the federal government of Nigeria to expand the Snake Island Port. The port signed a 45-year concession agreement with the federal government. The Snake Island Port will go up around $974 million, with the concessionaire and the federal government receiving $18 billion and $5.23 billion in revenue respectively over the concession period. The Snake Island Port development was proposed to attract about $1 billion in private investments and facilitate job creation across board. Next on our list is the Burutu Port. The Burutu Port plays a significant role in the export of crude oil and petroleum products, as well as facilitating the importation of goods into the Niger Delta region. To expand the port infrastructure, it will cost over $1.3 billion and be concessioned for 40 years, with the concessionaire and the federal government reaping $125 billion and $9 billion respectively over the period. Coming up next is the Badagry Deep Sea Port. The Badagry Deep Sea Port is estimated to go up around $2.59 billion, which has been approved by the Federal Executive Council during the Buhari administration and is expected to create about 250,000 jobs and attract foreign direct investment. The proposed Badagry Deep Sea Port is located in the Gberefun area of Badagry, Lagos State. It is about 55 kilometers west of the Apapa and Tinkan Island port complexes along the Lagos-Badagry Expressway. The port is proposed to be more than 4 kilometers of quay and approximately 620 hectares of dedicated port facility. It will also include facilities for handling containers, dry bulk, liquid bulk, roll-in roll-out, and general cargo, as well as oil and gas operation support. Furthermore, An additional 480 hectares will be developed into an industrial and logistic park zone. Coming up next is the Ondo River Port. The federal government has approved the construction of the Ondo Port with a depth of 16.5 to 18 meters. The port project has advanced to the concession and negotiation stage currently. The port is expected to cost the private developers the sum of $1.5 billion and be concessioned for 50 years, with the across to the concessionaire and the federal government expected to get about 50 billion and 2.6 billion respectively. Upon completion, the port is expected to handle vessels of up to 14,000 20-foot equivalent and would be an alternative to Port of Lome, Lagos and Cotonou. Coming up next is the Benin River Port. The Edo State government is concluding plans to develop the Benin River Port project. The chairman of the Benin River Port Committee said that the state is finalizing talks with the Port of Antwerp from Belgium to begin the development of the port. They noted that Mortal Angel Africa has been selected as the preferred bidder to construct the 300,000 20-foot equivalent unit Benin port. Coming up next is the Ibom Deep Seaport project. This proposed deep seaport project is located at the Mboluka government area of Akwa Ibom State, which has a draught of about 17.5 meters. It will enable the berthing of bigger vessels, reduce costs, and create economies of scale. The Ibom Deep Seaport project is set to go up $4.2 billion in investment, which is expected to cover the Ibom Deep Seaport and the Free Trade Zone. In 2022, the then Akwa Ibom State government started a discussion with China Harbour Engineering Company for the actualization of the Deep Seaport project in the state. This seaport project is designed for very large vessels that can load over 13,000 containers in one voyage. It will be a transshipment port as smaller vessels will redistribute cargo from mega vessels to Seaport, river port closer to the consignees within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. The Ibom Deep Seaport stands out as a federal government project driven by the Nigerian Port Authority, the Federal Ministry of Transport, and the Global Maritime and Port Services Pte Limited as a transaction driver. Coming up finally is the Bonny Deep Seaport project. The Bonny Deep Seaport project is situated in Rivers State in a location within the natural drought of 17 meters. The port project is estimated to go up about $462 million worth of investment and will be built under a public-private partnership arrangement. At completion, Bonny Port will have a capacity of about 500,000 TEUs and will help to reduce the pressure in Lagos Port and open new investment opportunities in both the south-south and southeastern region of Nigeria. However, some major stakeholders believe that some of this port project will be dead on arrival if care is not taken, particularly with the current microeconomic issues. Stakeholders also say that majority of containers that come into Nigeria exit the country empty because Nigerians are not taking up the opportunity to export. It is not about how many ports we have, but what value they are bringing to the economy. It is not the number of ports that matters, but what they are used for, because it is not enough to make money from import duties and container stacking fees. Nigeria also needs to sell its product through export. Summarily, these are the current port projects ongoing across Nigeria worth billions of dollars. Do well to drop your honest comment, tell us what you think, don't forget to subscribe and share. Thank you.